Hi, guys. We have one, two, three more days left. I hope you're ready because today is our second practice exam. And then tomorrow we will have a repeat of yesterday with Dr. Stephen Meinhold. Fingers crossed, and we will break down your answers for you again. So that special treat will be back with us. I know that I had a ton of questions, and they were so, I mean, I spent 2.5 hours on Twitter last night trying to keep up with all of just the questions that we have. And I do want to encourage kids to submit their practice exam information from today. If I don't get to reading it, it's not because I don't love you. It's because at this point, the number of requests that I'm getting for grading coupled with my own students' need to be graded, I'm at saturation point. So I definitely will take that stuff and I will pull it into, I will grade some of them and I will pull that information into the slide deck for tomorrow's presentation. But I want to just at the top here reiterate, I think one of the most important things that Dr. Meinhold started us off at the top with about being successful, and that is take a deep breath. Right? Before we get started, take a deep, deep breath. I think that that was a very real human reminder that number one, first and foremost, and always, you are more than a test, that this one measurement, while you are going to do fabulous, it doesn't define who you are as a person. It is simply just a snapshot in time, how you're doing under high intensity pressure. I talk to my own students a lot about what it feels like to be a student. I remember I just finished my own schooling at Virginia Tech, my master's last December. So I very much so I'm still recovering from the stress of being a student. And so I'm very sympathetic to it, and that's where I have to come back and say, you can make mistakes, you're going to be fine. You can walk into a test and feel nervous. You're going to be fine. There's actually a really fun psychological concept called the Dunning-Kruger effect that explains that says that you should be a little bit nervous because you have an understanding of what could be on that test and you have a small amount of time to do it. And I'll be honest with you, every time I have sat down to do a practice question with you, I've been nervous. It's nerve-wracking. I've been very nervous. You're all watching me. What if I mess up? What if you can't read my handwriting? What if I get something wrong? And I did. There were things I don't think I got perfect scores on every single one of those questions. So, if anything, let's recognize right here on the top that this is a human function and that we are going to get through it just fine, including you. And if you practice and you try your hardest, that's the best that we can ask for. Okay. So while I am getting us set up, I want to remind you that this is a practice, that this is supposed to be similar to the structure. And I don't know what's on the test. I haven't seen the test questions, but I'm using the test question that we did on Monday as a guide to kind of give me some understanding of where to go. It's not a guarantee that that's exactly what the questions are going to look like, but I used it as a guide knowing that we have 7 points, that we have a rubric in our argumentation FRQ, and that you'll have 5 task verbs on our concept application FRQ. So you're going to see that similar structure. It is not intended to be representative of the content that will be assessed. I may dip into unit 4 and 5, and if I do, that doesn't mean it's going to be on the test. It is purely here to give you the opportunity to practice inside a timed testing window. Okay, that being said, now is a great time for you to settle in, find a flat space. We talked about sitting upright with a nice straight up back wooden back chair or a backed chair with both feet on the ground. You can take your shoes off, but don't get too comfy. Are you dressed for success? I know you guys have noticed I wear blazers like 3 times a week, so I've got my blazer on. I'm dressed for success, right? If you have a drink with you because you get nervous, take that drink, put it to the side. Don't put it on the table with you because if you're typing or you're writing, the last thing you want is a spilled beverage to get in the way. Take your phone, turn off the notifications. You don't want to get distracted. Turn to mom and dad, to your sisters and brothers, to your housemates, your grandparents, whomever is there, and say, look, I need an hour, please give me some time. If you are writing today, please make sure that you grab your pencil and your paper, better yet, pen, have all that stuff out there in front of you, right? If you have notes, you're allowed to have notes. Just try to keep it minimal. We don't want to get too distracted. You want to log on to that test space. I'm going to ask you to hold off if you're going to use the exam demo until after we're done, because we want to make sure that we get through this first. Exam demo is not quite perfect in the timing. And if you are going to be typing today, it would be great to do split screen. So take the YouTube and put me in split screen, because you will take and do the same thing on the test day. You'll have your testing information in a split screen, and in the other screen, you are going to put your Google Doc or your window or your Word window, whatever, all the things, right? So at this point, I hope that I've given you enough time to settle in, to get all of your stuff. Additionally, if you are in need of seeing a larger representation of the test question, remember that those are uploaded and waiting for you in the links down below. And I will make sure that while you guys begin, I will make sure that they're uploaded on the link that's on that slide today. Mind your time, right? Remember, whenever you finish, you can submit it after the time elapses. I think I had a question yesterday that I think we should probably talk about for 1 second. And that is, they said, a student asked me, can I continue to write into the 5 minutes for uploading? And so just like yesterday, you heard Dr. Meinhold and I talk a lot about, well, these are suggestions that we have. These are recommendations. I'm going to continue to use that language, because you are I'm going to tell you what I would do. I'm going to tell you what my recommendation might be, but you are an intelligent, capable person who can weigh the risks of the different scenarios. And I want to remind you that that there will be a lot of people who will be accessing College Board servers at the same time to upload. Everyone will be uploading at that one point in time all around the world. And if it were me, and I wanted to make sure that 5 minutes, I was able to get that document successfully attached, I would be doing so right at 5 minutes, right at that 5-minute countdown timer, so that I give the internet a full 5 minutes to carry my ideas all the way to College Board. So make sure that, just take that. If you dip into that time period too much, you're running the risk that it won't upload. And remember, not uploading is not necessarily, depending like when you try, it's not necessarily guaranteed that you'll get an opportunity to retest. Minimize your distractions. Another really important thing I'm going to say at the top and the bottom, we can talk all you want between now and Sunday. Actually, technically, I'm sure you can talk to me up until the time the test starts on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I cannot talk to you. I do not want to talk to you after you're done at 4:50 Eastern Standard Time about what was on the test. We're not going to talk about it. That is grounds for having your score vacated. And College Board does and has vacated students' scores. In addition to that, don't share your information with other people. Don't share your work. I cannot say this enough. There are some folks out there who have decided that the best way to handle this stuff is to do hive mind and to make study guides together. And if you cut and paste, or you use language that's directly drawing out of that material and it goes into your document, you're increasing the likelihood that you're going to get snagged for cheating. So use your own work, right? Even if someone you trust hands it off to you. What's more important, that relationship with that person, or you testing out of a college course? Don't like I said, don't share your notes, don't Google answers. You can cut and paste your answer from your Google Doc into the browser, as we know, but don't cut and paste stuff from like Wikipedia. We can talk about Wikipedia, right? And just don't spend tons and tons of time in your textbook. You're going to get lost. Those are all of my tips for some success. It's recommendations, right? You can ignore me if you want to. Everyone else does. All right. In a minute, I'm going to turn into the first test question. And I want to make sure right at the top that you are scurrying about getting your final, final things together. I want to remind you that if you are receiving accommodations, the best way for you to be able to ensure that you get your accommodations is to grab your phone, which should be on airplane mode, and you are going to want to set a timer for your accommodated time, right? So if you have time and a half, it's roughly 37 minutes. Of course, I'm really bad at math, so if it's not 37 minutes, then just pretend like it is. When I move on to the second question, right, you're going to hear me break in at 25 minutes and say, now is at this point you should stop writing and begin considering uploading your answers. We're not going to upload, that's fine, but you should just pause the video and allow your timer to run out until you get to, and when it runs out, then you pick it back up with the 5 minutes for upload time, and then you can proceed, right? That is, you have accommodations because you are supposed to apply for them, and you will have received information from College Board already. Whether or not you have those accommodations, it would be something you would definitely know. Okay, so last deep breath, right? Last deep breath. If you go into this and you see that the questions haven't been posted, that's the first thing I'm going to look to see that they're posted. Just give it a minute and then focus on the screen. Remember, I'm going to turn off my video camera. Oh, one last thing. I did have some kids who said, could you please go through this test question with us? And I can't, because if I'm doing anything on the screen, like even if I'm trying to process the questions quietly, just so you can see where I would go, you wouldn't be able to see the countdown timer. So it was a great idea. I think that was Miss Dawes's class who had that idea, and I love it, but it's going to get in the way of the timer. So one deep final breath. You got this. You'll see my screen go dark. I will start the countdown timer. I hope I don't have problems with the slide deck today. And I will see you in 25 minutes. At this point, you should make a note as to where you are in your written response because it is now time for uploading. All right, so we finished the first question. Hopefully you're feeling okay about it. And if you're feeling a little shaky, that's okay. Remember, we still have 5 days to work out the kinks. At this point, what you should do is if you are typing a response, you should open up a new document for you to type in. And if you are writing, it would be good to get a fresh sheet of paper. Remember that they will ask you to put your student ID into the top of the paper, and I believe your initials. You will be uploading that potentially after we are done, so go ahead and set that aside. And we are going to move on to the next question. Okay. I'm going to turn the slide and I will start the counter. You will hear me go silent. I want to give you full time to take in the question and attempt this practice content application FRQ in the next 15 minutes. Good luck. Oops, I'm sorry, I missed your reminder that you are into your submittal time. We're at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Make a note of where it is that you left off, and we'll continue in 4 minutes. All right, we have successfully completed what we set out to do. So you've written 2 FRQs in a little bit over 50 minutes or so. with some time to upload. Let's talk about uploading right now so that we can cover the bases. There might be some folks who are joining us who are new to the process. So let's make sure that we cover some bases. There's more information. I'm sorry, I had to look for my little cursor. There's more information that your teacher is going to have access to and your AP coordinator back in your building. So if you have specific questions about processes, please go to them, or there is a set of links at the end of the slideshow that can help you also. So remember that you have 3 options, and I do recommend that we practice at least once, if not twice, on the demo. When you go into the demo, remember you're going to go into one room and it's like a set timer for 3 minutes. You don't really have any options. It's going to give you a list of instructions. Sit down, read all the questions, read all the stuff, read all the things, and then a second window will open or second door will open and you will go into a test prompt. It's a generic test prompt that has more instructions. And then any point in time during that 10-minute countdown timer, you can submit one of your responses. It does not go to your teacher. It does, I don't know where it goes. Nowhere. It goes nowhere. It goes into the void. Okay. So you're purely just practicing information here. So you'll have to sit there for 10 minutes. So multitask, it's something we're all we can do. So watch a TikTok video or text a friend, whatever. And then another door will open for your final question, and then you can upload there. You should wait until the end because you want to see that screen that confirms that you've successfully uploaded. So about uploading, remember you have 3 options. The first one is copy and paste. It's best for a laptop or a desktop computer. You're going to type your response into Google Docs, Microsoft Notes, or a similar application. Don't include images. Save your work often. Put your AP ID and initials at the top of the response. When the timer has 5 minutes remaining, copy and paste your response into the space indicated and click submit. Remember, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself as much time as possible, given that everybody who's sitting for the test will be uploading at the same time. Your exam day setup, best option is side-by-side windows, one for in Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Edge, in which your exam question will appear after you click on your e-ticket. It has your test question, the timer, and everything, and the use to paste and submit typed responses. Window 2 is where you're going to have your Google Doc, your Microsoft Word, and your notes. So that is copy and paste into the browser to submit your work. The next one is attaching a document, again, side by side on a laptop or desktop. Similar thing here, Google Docs, Microsoft, Notes, similar application, no images, save your work often, save it as a .doc, .docx, .pdf, .text, or .odt, AP and ID at the top of the response. When you have 5 minutes remaining, you're going to want to click attach your response and upload, and then click submit. And if you have 2 questions, you're going to have to do this twice, right? So you're going to use, that's why I told you guys to open up a second document so that you can get 1 document per question. You're not submitting both questions on the same page and uploading it twice. It's 2 completely different. Window 1 is going to be Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Edge, in which you have the exam question, which the timer, and where you're submitting your text file. And window 2 is a Google Doc, Microsoft Word, or Notes file where you're typing. Third option is for a handwritten response. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're using a smartphone or a tablet, and that you have, I'm trying to get out of here, that you have your smartphone or your tablet sitting next to you, right? And you have your paper, and on that paper, you are going to write your AP ID and your initials and a page number for each of the pages at the top of the response. You're going to write your response out in dark pen or pencil. When you have 5 minutes, you're going to want to take that camera and you're going to take a picture of it in vertical orientation. That's this way, not this way, this way, right? And you're going to want to make sure, again, one of the things that I've noticed from a couple of students who submitted, I didn't get a chance to write back to them, but if you're taking a picture like this, right, where there's an angle or it's not very bright in your room, wherever it is that you're taking that picture, it's really, really, really hard to see the responses. I would recommend, getting like this I don't know if I can show you this, but when I have a response that looks like this, I cannot read the top of that paper. So what you really want to focus on is you want to get it right up above and try to have the full page in that browser. Maybe something a little bit more like this, right? So I can see all the edges. Make sure it's a nice bright overhead light. If it, if you need to, you can turn on the flash on your camera, but it matters, right? Especially if you have that first picture where it's kind of at an angle. We can't read the top. So just do your best, right? Practice a couple times taking that picture. When you're going to have one page per photo, if your response is longer than one page, you're going to need to attach multiple photos, maximum of 5 photos per question, and then click submit. That shouldn't be an issue for you guys. Make sure that you attach all of your pages before you click submit. Acceptable formats are .png, .jpeg. That's probably what your phone is. And then you can do that by just having, like I said, these 2 items right next to you on the desk so that you see the picture and the timer and you can take a picture. Okay. Submitting your responses, it's a 2-step process, attach or paste, click submit. If you don't click submit before the timer runs out, this is the critical component. If you do not get to clicking on that yellow button before that countdown timer, that 5-minute window gets to 0, your response doesn't count. So if you click submit and you see the wheel turning, right? It's continuing to transfer and you've clicked submit within that 5-minute window, you're fine. You'll be able to move on to the next question, even while your first question begins to transfer, so long as you click submit before the time runs out. If the time runs out, you cannot click submit, and this is where College Board will not give you an opportunity for a retake. If your response continues to transfer after the exam ends, wait for the on-screen messaging confirming that your exam is complete. Make sure your submissions have fully loaded before you close your browser or turn off or restart your computer. If you never see your AP exam is complete message, you should go to cb.org/request makeup to explain the situation, request an e-ticket for the June makeup date. And I might even tell your teacher they can help make sure that you're getting to all the places. Okay. This is my last thing before I say goodbye to you guys for tomorrow with Dr. Meinhold once again. Now is a great time for you to go to Exam Demo and to practice uploading. If you want to have an opportunity to get your essay on the discussion tomorrow, submit it to me to Twitter, but we are not submitting your questions to me on May 11th. This is the last question that I will answer questions on. If you want to talk to me about anything I've done in the past up to this point, I will talk to you about it. But anything that is, actually I should say, I'm going to give you 3 CAs over the weekend for you to practice as well. So those I will post on Friday on Twitter. Beyond that, beyond those last 3 practice questions that students have asked for, and that's really beyond like this whole thing, that's just because kids have asked, don't talk to me about a single other question, especially the one on Monday, right? If you talk to me, I'm not going to respond. College Board will find you, and that will be the end of that assessment. So please, I cannot emphasize it enough. Please don't do that. I know you want to, but I cannot, and this is the same thing I'm telling my own students, I cannot grade their FRQs. I will not grade their FRQs. I will have access to their FRQs, but I'm not grading them because I don't know what the scoring guidelines are, and I don't know what is a 5 and what is a 4 and what is a 3. I know exactly as much as your teacher is. I'm doing the best I can. I'm pretty confident that we have sat through this experience and we are pretty prepared. Remember, if we have that Dunning-Kruger effect and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a little nervous. That's okay. You can be nervous, right? Like, just take care of yourself, right? Like, calm yourself down, go for a walk, have a nice cup of tea, make sure that you're, not too hard on yourself. This is a test, and it's not who you are, right? It's just a measure of where you are now. Here's all those important links. I look forward to seeing you guys back here on Thursday and Friday. And other than that, I am going to bid you adieu. We'll see you again next time. Bye, friends.